cloudy one today. So this morning we woke up, it's pretty cloudy outside, and we gotta check the battery level, see where we're at. So this is something that we do every single day because you gotta see what your batteries are at, where you're topped off to, see if you need to run the generator or something to get through. Just checked 33% battery. That's not good. That won't get us through the day, and it's super cloudy. Looking at the solar production right now, we're pulling in 32 watts. Is that 32 watts? Yeah, 32 watts, and it's super cloudy out. So at least something's coming in, but not enough to charge the battery bank in a decent amount of time.
To tell you the truth, we've been really cautious about how frequently we plug into shore power. We haven't done it very often, and we've only done it when absolutely necessary, because if we're off grid, it doesn't make sense to get used to plugging into shore power or using the generator all the time. But we have not tested out the generator yet, so why not try it out today? And if we plug in, that means I can make split pea dal today.
It's forecasted to be pretty rainy today. Yesterday, it got cloudy pretty quick. By early afternoon, we had on and off showers and big old massive raindrops, so not a lot of solar production yesterday. So today we're going to go into the barn and find our generator somewhere in there and do a little unboxing of it and plug it up and see if we can top off our batteries. We have this little generator just because if we ever have days like this where it's super cloudy for days on end or low solar production, then we're off grid, we'll be able to top off our batteries so that we can cook and also have whatever electric we need for charging our laptops, lights, hot water, whatever. One of the considerations that we had for the generator is we wanted to limit the number of fuels that we have. Well, we were trying to stick with diesel the entire time, but one of the things with diesel generators is they are very expensive, and we're definitely not in the budget this round right now. Might be able to get one and save up for one after a while. The ones we were looking at were about $8,000 to $10,000 for the vehicle mounted ones. And but they're really, really good machines. They last for a long time if you take care of them. So we're like, okay, well, we could spend a little bit of money on it and get a little portable generator. It just so happens to be gasoline powered, so we'll have to carry a jerry can or two of gasoline. And so we should be able to get by with that in this apocalyptic times that we're in. It's crazy out there, folks. It's only getting crazier. So hopefully this generator works great and tops off our batteries. So let's go check out the generator and see how it works.
Oh, there it is. Under the pressure canner.
Oh, boom. We need you.
Yeah.
We'll use you another time.
Yep. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for off-grid pressure canning. Oh, yeah. Coming to a video near you.
So we ended up going with the Generac 2200i because it is a small, lightweight unit, and it is, it says on the label, quiet and neighborly. That's great because we don't really want to make a whole ton of noise whenever we're off grid and needing to use this. So that's an awesome feature. It also doesn't weigh a lot. It's only like 46 pounds, and it's got an enclosed case on it, which helps to reduce the amount of engine noise that it has. Another awesome feature is that it can be linked together with another one to double the capacity. So if you wanted a 2200 or watt, that'd be just one unit. It has 1700 watts of continuous running time. Or if you wanted to double that, then you could go up to 4400 watts or 3400 watts of continuous running time, which if we bought a second one of these, it is still cheaper than buying one 3500 watt unit. So that's another good reason why we went with this particular one. This one, compared to the Yamaha version or the Honda version, this is like half the cost, a little less than half the cost. So if you're on a budget like we are, then getting one that will work for your budget is extremely important. So let's go ahead and see what is inside this box here. Instruction manual, we'll probably take a look at that at some point. A funnel, that's nice. Oh, it's got some, oh, interesting. It looks like jumper cables with a 12 volt cigarette lighter attachment. We'll find out what that's for. Sounds like a toolkit of some kind. Oh yeah, it looks like a spark plug wrench and a screwdriver and maybe the T-handle for the spark plug wrench. That's nice. This packaging's a little flimsy. It's already just kind of broken apart. Hopefully the unit's not flimsy. Let's see, some engine oil, 10W30 weight. All right, this looks like it's packaged pretty nice. It's got foam on the sides to protect the sides. Let's set this on the ground and pull this out. That is pretty light. Nothing else in the box. Cool, look at that. So first impressions, this feels like a pretty solid unit here. Something that I just noticed that it runs at 14.1 amps. So that's your total amp output. And the continuous running wattage is 1700 watts. So utilizing the parallel feature, if you wanted to get two of these and run them in parallel so that you could double the amount of wattage that you have, would definitely be worthwhile. But right out of the gate, we're gonna try one, see if that just this one will be enough. Now, something about the running amps is that it doesn't have the 30 amp output, which is fine. Like, we could totally use our long extension cord for shore power with these two plugs here. They're rated for 120 volt AC, max of 14.1 amps. Another thing about this that I like, that it's got economy mode on or off. When starting the unit, start it in with the economy mode off, and then if you want to save some fuel, you could turn that on. Now, something about that also is that you can run this for 11 hours on one tank of fuel at 25%, or about 7 hours at 50% capacity. So if you're not really laboring this thing too hard and you're just doing it to top off your batteries, sure, you could have this thing running all day. something that I noticed is that it says run this in dry environments. So if it's raining outside, you might have to shield it from the rain. Maybe put it under your rig or something so that the exhaust is pointing out, or have a little tarp or something covering it. Just make sure that it's not touching the exhaust on the backside so that you don't run a fire risk. So no tarps or anything touching the unit, but just cover it with something if it's raining. I really like that there's several different ways of getting energy out of here. You've got the 12-volt socket right here. You also have the USB. You've got the 2 spots here for running your parallel cords, which are sold separately. You also have 2 3-prong outlets, and you've got the choke for off, run, and choke mode. So starting it and running it. You can get this Jenny fired up and charging your batteries. There are also a few warning lights here at the top for low oil, and checking your engine versus your engine's doing great. So that's great that there's little lights for operation, and I like that there's dust caps for all the different ports here. That's great for being off grid because that way you keep these little connections nice and clean. And I also like that these 12-volt DC, 8 amp and 15 amp fuses are all covered with this little rubbery deal so that no water or liquid damages those. So that's really convenient. First impressions, this looks like it's going to be a pretty awesome machine. It's not very heavy, and I think that's going to store well in our underbody storage. Oh, wow. So the instructions don't say how much oil you need in here, which is kind of unfortunate. I'll put a little bit of light on here because I don't want to overfill this. All right, so I'm gonna make a note of how high we are on this oil. Last but not least, time to fill with fuel. So we'll open the fuel tank. It looks like it's got a nice little strainer in there. That's good. This red device here, it looks like it's the full level. And I've got exactly 2.5 gallons inside this gas can here. And this unit uses 87 octane, so you don't have to buy the expensive stuff. There we go. That used about, we're at 2.5 gallons here, so that used about half of that. So about 1.25 gallon maybe it used, and we got it filled up all the way to the red mark there. Now we'll replace the lid. Nice and tight. All right, let's take this outside and spark her up. So I'm going slow at first just to get some of the oil pushing through the system and prime the pump. All right, economy mode is off. Wow. That's quiet. That's not very loud at all. So far, this is not very loud at all. I don't have a decibel reader. I might see if I can find an app for it, but it's not very loud at all. So now that it's been running for a little bit, let's hook it up to the bus and see what sort of wattage we have. 1500 watts coming in. So I have been trying to figure out where we're going to put the generator and mount it so that it's not topsy-turvy while we're driving. And so here's the generator right there. And I was thinking, you know what? It would be nice to have a bracket of some kind that we could then throw like a bungee or something over the top or a ratcheting strap just to hold it down. And I found this. If you remember the fart collector that we took out, which was the driver's seat, this is part of the base of that driver's seat. These other two pieces over here was the parts that held the seat belt receiver, and then they were adjustable with these little knobs that are here on the side. And so what I was thinking, I was like, holy smoke, what if this generator could fit in this? But then I was like, oh crap, there's a lip here. I was like, well, you know what? I can totally cut this out, spray paint the edge. It'd be all cool. So let's see if this will fit. So I can mount this to the floor inside the underbody storage, and that just so happens to fit perfectly. Ha! How cool is that? So if I take this little lip off right here, then it will sit nice and flush to the bottom, and I could leave these knobs on and put a bungee through the handle area here, across the top, and then to another one, and maybe go diagonal, maybe make an X on the top, and it'll sit perfectly. So let's get working on taking that off, and then we'll bolt this to the floor in the underbody. Pretty cool, huh? I'm pretty stoked about it. This is just another one of those reasons why we haven't really thrown anything away or scrapped too much from our demolition phase of the bus build, is because you never know what pieces might be useful for something else that you may not be thinking about right now. And that's what we found out in our build. We kept as much stuff as possible, which is why it looks like a hurricane in here. Ah! Hurricane! Holy smokes. Now I'm dizzy as shit. Whew. All right, stabilize. All right, I'm good now. So that's why we kept everything. So do what you want. You're your own person. That's just what the hell we did. iPro. Yeah. What about some Glove Pro? Oh yeah. I got some Ear Pro too. Yeah, get them ears protected. What was that? What'd you say? Ear Pro. Or I'm just going deaf, which is what Aaron thinks. dried overnight. It's not tacky at all. We can go and install it. All right. Before going and installing this, I'm gonna put some safe edge on here because then that will allow us to protect the generator. This is not the right size safe edge for this. It's a little too small. So hopefully it'll hold on long term. If not, we can get some more when we're on the road and apply it. But for now, I think it'll work. There we go. Fits nice. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, get these tightened down. I'm gonna leave these anchors here because if we ever wanna repurpose this again, we'll be able to. Make sure they're nice and tight. Okie dokie. Let's go to the bus and get this installed. First, I'm going to dry fit the location. And I'm going to actually slide the generator in here because we need to be able to be sure that we can access everything that we need to access around here. And also be able to service the batteries, like make sure that the terminals are nice and secure. So I'm gonna go grab the generator, slide it in, and then figure out where the ultimate placement is gonna be. So we'll never be running the generator while it's in this compartment, so we don't have to worry about venting it or running an exhaust line or anything. And we'll always put the generator, got nettle of some kind down here. It got me. Go ahead and mark where the edges are. Oh look, we're using the bus electric for this. All right, we're gonna use a little bit of Loctite on this. Don't want this puppy breaking loose while driving down the road. These are serrated nuts, so that's helpful for grabbing on, but we don't have any lock washers for this particular bolt. goes. All right, we got 2 more. There we go. Super solid. I'll go ahead and mark this one off as complete.